Welcome to a wonderful little video of kinesiology for personal use. So self-kinesiology, which is muscle testing, asking the body for a response rather than using up here. And everybody does ask, can you influence your muscle test by wanting it to go a certain way? And yes, of course you can. Of course you can influence your muscle test. But you will know that you're doing it. It's like that honesty part of oneself, that if you have influenced your muscle test because you're so desperate for it to get a certain result, you will know on some level. You'll go, yeah, I know I've been pretending with that. So if you are serious about getting into muscle testing, then you need to do something called what I call getting out of your own way, which is being a vessel and a channel, getting out of your own way so that you are not influencing the outcome of the test. And to get out of your own way is quite an art form, really, because it involves being present, being authentic, being true to yourself, being in the moment and connected to your soul's voice. For me, getting out of your own way is the state you would go into to give a healing, the state you would go into to give a psychic reading. So if you're going to do a very authentic muscle test, you would use the same skill. And to learn about getting out of your own way, and actually I break it down step by step how one would do this. It's like you give the body what it wants. You tell the human it's got exactly what it needs. It's got all of its needs met, therefore it can get out of its own way. And I have a very specific and effective exercise for this, which is far too long to teach in this video. But I do teach it in my psychic development program. For anybody that wants to take this a little bit further, you can get a clear breakdown how to get out of your own way, how to be a vessel and a psychic channel, is all in my program. I forgot the name of it for a second. Supercharge Your Psychic, which gets you into this state so that you can authentically shamanic journey, and it teaches you about how to shamanic journey, how to use that as a psychic ability. But essentially it's the same starting block to do a muscle test for yourself, that you give an authentic read and you're being present. So usually that's why we use kinesiology for somebody else. So you'll have somebody else muscle testing on themselves to give an answer for somebody else, because that's another way of not influencing it, because, well, especially if they're not friend, family or loved one, you're not attached to the outcome. You don't need to influence what answer shows up. You just get an answer and you say, well, this is it. So most people use kinesiology and muscle testing now for testing their clients, for testing somebody else, because you'll get an authentic yes, no, because you're not attached to the outcome. And I will teach you the process just now. The other thing we do when you're learning at the very start each time is to do a reversal correction, because that's the only other thing that will give you an off reading, a wrong reading, an ineffective reading, is if your energy field is reversed, then you will get the opposite of what really it is, because you're reversed. It's like you're flipped upside down. Your energy field is uncorrected. And just this piece is really useful. If ever you find you're tired, or for some reason you just feel something's come over you, just feel a bit out of sorts, it might be because you're just reversed, and that's it. So the first steps of correcting a reversal is you tap the side of your hand, this bit. It doesn't matter which hand, you can do it on either hand. Side of hand, Then the end of your index finger. You want to find the outside of your index finger nearest to your thumb and tap on the outside of your index finger. Again, it doesn't matter which hand, as long as it's the outside here of your index finger at the very tip by the nail. And you want to tap it 20-30 times. It doesn't take long if you're doing it quickly. Then under your nose, pressure point here above the lip and under the nose. Then under the chin, in the middle of your chin, pressure point here. And then you would do the same index finger again. And side of hand. And that's your reversal correction. So if you've done that, you will be in a correctly flowing state. Then to muscle test, I use a sway and a lean. So you would be standing up normally and just with your feet flat on the ground, feeling yourself, feeling your balance is centered. And then you would just say that your name. My name is Claire. And then you feel yourself being pulled ever so slightly either forwards or backwards. And there will be a polarity lean. So you state my name is, and then find which way you are leaning, either going slightly forwards or slightly backwards. So that's your first test. Then you can always reversal correct again if you're not sure. And then you tell a lie, you say my name is John, and then whichever way you lean, forwards or backwards, is the no. So you're looking to check your yes and your no. And you can do this consistently over, let's say, 7 days. Keep checking, my name is real name, my name is a fake name. See which way you lean after doing your reversal correction. And this is how you would practice. And when you're really clear on your yes and your no, then you can start asking questions once you have your polarity lean identified. Okay, most people for a yes do go forwards. When they're not reversed, they're saying yes, pull me forwards, yes into the future. Their yes is often a forwards lean. And your no is, no, I'm not going there, no, back. Mine, for some reason, is the other way around. I go, yep, backwards, and no, forwards. I'm like, stop. And my yes is backwards. You have so many different ways of doing this on yourself. There's another one with linking the hands together. You can do what's called sticky finger, which is the smooth. If it's smooth to rub your fingers together, it's a yes. If it becomes sticky, it's a no. So if you've told a lie and it's sticky, then it's your body saying no. If it's smooth and your fingers can rub together fine, then it's a yes. That's quite a good one to check. If you've got a menu in a restaurant, for instance, and you're going through things on the menu and you want to ask your body a muscle test, which is the most beneficial for me to eat, you can go down the menu, looking at each item and rubbing your fingers together and seeing which item is the smoothest and which item is the stickiest. Definitely don't eat it. And if you've got a smooth, then order that. The same for wine, going around in the shops. The lean is a very effective way of doing it really subtly because nobody can really see what you're doing. If you muscle test on somebody else, you use the entire arm and you either get strong or weak arm. You can use an arm swing where you swing from the side. Again, that's a bit more advanced. That's for practitioners, that's a bit difficult. But for your self muscle test, a lean or a sticky finger to practice will be really, really easy. So all you've got to do is keep remembering to ask. You can write a little Post-it note on your mirror in the bathroom and say, practice my kinesiology today. And you would just do your reversal correction, write down the points. Standing up. My name is, say your real name, see which way you go. And then my name is Fred, and say a fake name and see which way you go. And see if your yes and no are consistent. So if you go forward for your yes, you always go forward for your yes. If you go back for your no, you always go back for your no. And then you can test different things. So you can ask questions like, is wheat a toxin to me? See which way you go. But the thing is, if wheat is a toxin to you and you've eaten it, it probably has made you reversed. So let's say you're doing a dietary test on yourself. You've eaten the wheat, you've ingested the wheat, and you don't do your reversal correction, or you do your reversal correction, but it flips you so quickly that you can't retest. You might get, if you've already had the wheat and you say, is wheat a toxin to me? And it says no, it might be a toxin, but you might have got a false answer because your polarities have already been reversed because you've ingested the toxin. So if you are going to test any foods, it's a good idea to test first thing in the morning when you haven't ingested or eaten anything else, or to have a stint of time where you don't eat wheat for like 2 or 3 days. Then you test it. You're going to get more of an effective reading. Okay? But you can ask any yes-no question that you like and get yourself muscle testing yourself. I hope that was really helpful. I hope that you will find it useful, continue to use it and continue to practice. If you have any questions, please do email me in pashceremony.com and get in touch. Hope you try.